You're listening to Lather Talk with your hosts John Shea and Gerard Gustillo.
Hey, what's up, listeners? And welcome to Lather Talk, episode number 73. I'm your host, John, aka Lather Hog, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime, my co-host, Gerard, aka Hey Gerard Shaves. What's up, Gerard?
We're here.
We're here, and
We're here.
Yeah, it's we're live. We're live, and last you knew, it's a few months ago, and I updated that Gerard and Sarah, which just welcomed their second child. How's she doing?
Yeah, she's a hoss.
Yeah.
She'll be 9 months at the end of this month as we record this.
Oh man,
which is crazy already to think.
Yeah.
And she is quickly becoming the boss of the house of the home. So
nice.
I was warned about this, and here we are.
Well, you're looking good, looking healthy. So that's always good to see. I also want to mention I guess it's a little bit I don't know if bittersweet is the right word, but aside from the long break, after some discussion, Gerard and I have decided that it is time. It is as you were saying before the show, Gerard, it is not goodbye, but see you later.
I think it's a fair phrase to use for today.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll talk a little bit about kind of where we are. I think longtime listeners will not be surprised by this announcement. On top of the long break since the last episode, I myself am just coming off of a hiatus from YouTube. So I think we weren't really in a place to record this episode while I was recharging the old batteries, as it were. But I think we had a good discussion, and I think we'll go down memory lane a little bit. And I think start off by just the inception of the podcast. Many podcasts don't make it past the first year or even the first episode or two. And I'm just so happy to be able to work with you this whole time, Gerard. For we just realized 5 years, like the time of recording, mid-November. This is when we kicked things off 5 years ago, just before the pandemic. And so it's a little sad to say, to say see you later. I will say the opposite. And one big factor that folks might not know is we weren't originally going to be an interview show, and little did we know when we reached out to artisans and some other guests that the response and just people's willingness to be on this show, this unknown show, Lather Talk, it really gave us momentum, kept us chugging away. But of course, interspersed with that were some just great conversations about wood shaving, about the hobby, with just me and Gerard. So I really enjoyed doing both types of episodes. Was it before your first child was born too? I think.
Yeah.
So during this.
But Sarah's pregnant. My wife was pregnant, with our first, and so it's funny that this the podcast has lasted longer than both of them have been on this planet.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Right. It spans the birth of both your children, and I think that's special. That was really cool too, to kind of be able to check in with you how that was doing, as my kids are just have a few years on yours, but it wasn't so far removed where that I've forgotten about that experience. So also we got to meet in person. You did come out here to the Boston area, stay with us, and that was awesome.
And then
host you and Sarah.
And then we got the families to meet up when you guys came out here for a little Disney trip.
Yes. We had a Disneyland trip, with along with my. Did you meet my in-laws, or was it just?
No. We just.
Okay. I think we saw you before they flew. Yeah, before they made it out. They flew from Hawaii to California, and we got to catch you guys before then.
Yeah, definitely. It's been nice, especially like kind of like thinking in retrospect, when everything happened, it was still the beginning of the pandemic, and so we had time, like we're just like,
Yeah,
what are we gonna do?
true.
Like we're, like I think we were both working still, but at the same time, um, we just had some free time to do, and both being super passionate in the hobby, super active, hunting for anything and everything that we can, get our hands on.
Oh yes.
And it just was I think the podcast and um meeting up and everything was just a good step, beyond, just the normal searching online on the stores and the BSTs and various things like that.
Yeah, it was a different way to engage with the hobby, to have someone to kind of like ping pong off of about like, oh, what do we discover? What do we pick up? What do we sell? What do we buy? What do we resell? What do we rebuy? Going through that whole cycle of really any hobby, like multiple, like like, oh, what's your biggest regret of things you sold off, and then what did you rebuy? Before I forget though, we actually before we started airing too, you realize we both shaved today. So, for old
Oh yeah.
time's sake, Gerard, what did you shave with today?
So I mean, it's pretty sentimental to us. I shaved with Voices,
Oh, excellent.
our first collaboration with Ben from House of Mammoth, the award-winning Voices
That's right. That's right.
from the Art and Olfactory Awards, I believe.
Yes.
So it was really nice. And then I shaved with Old Goatee, the 34C, with
Classic.
a Persona 74 blade, vintage blade.
Oh,
That's no longer, it's super unobtainium.
yeah. Those are the older vintage razor blades are thicker too, right?
This one, no, but they're
Oh,
tungsten coated. They could be
okay.
thicker, but I don't think this one is in particular.
Okay.
And
But
so incredibly smooth shave. Um, yeah, do not look up prices on Persona
oh, that
74s.
oh, that blade.
They,
Okay.
they are not friendly for your wallet.
Okay. I am I don't have a lot of info on that blade. Oh, and what brush did you use for the setup?
I used a Voices brush. It's not the official. So along with the soap set and everything, our friend Rob from Chisel and Hound also did a limited run with Ben from Mammoth with a bunch of Voices handles, which had the Mammoth coin. Rob ended up having some extra, I think it was mango wood, which is what it's made out
Yeah,
of, mango wood and
that's right.
resin.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up getting one with one of his coins, not one of the Mammoth coins. So
Right.
I
Okay.
used
Oh, I
that
see.
with, I'm pretty sure it's a Fanchurian in there. I don't know what version,
Some kind of
whatever,
magic. Yeah, yeah.
V13, V12, I don't know.
Something around
So
low teens. Yeah.
yeah, so somewhere in there.
Nice. Sounds good.
And yourself?
Yeah. I used Bear Stern Man Nordust. And that's a very nice, kind of very realistic orange. Just pleasant soap and aftershave. I'm currently going through a trial with or trial slash kind of digging out from the old dustbin the Mingxi. I said the Mingxi 2000S, I think is what it's called. It's the clone of the Mercur Future, I believe, an adjustable razor.
God, and you survived.
So
You had a good copy?
well, yes. So I have a good copy, and it's something where I want to go through and eventually make a video on. But it's good. I'm just getting a few shaves under. Like I'm not in a rush to do it. It's been good. I feel like
If I
I guess
remember right, there
yeah.
were alignment issues with the clone.
Yeah, and the other tricky thing is I know there's other I think like the Q shave, like there's other ones that have used that same model, but it could
Mhm,
come from a different manufacturer. But
correct.
in general, I got it got in my head to use that razor because a local friend was using that razor as his first DE for the longest time until I lent him a few of mine just because he actually stumbled upon my channel and was interested about it. So eventually that little borrowing of razors, he bought a Rockwell 6C for him and his father, I believe. So but he was using that Mingxi for a long time, or rather whatever version that Amazon carried. and he had no problems with it. So I think that's the danger, right, for the Chinese clone razors. It's just the quality control rather is kind of up or down. But mine's okay. I've had mine for a long time. It was like $10 when I first bought it, and I was pretty impressed between settings 4 through 6. It does like all of a sudden bump up with the razor. What do you call it? The blade feel.
The blade feel, yeah.
The blade feel and the aggression, right?
I mean, I think that's when the gap like just gets bigger, right?
Yep. Exactly. So I mean, I really feel it. But it still gave a good smooth shave, and I'm enjoying it. So yes, I do have a good copy, and it'll be something I share my experience with once I get like maybe another shave or two, because I'm trying to use all the settings as well. But I think under 3, it's a little too mild. Like I'm like I don't feel anything going that. So
that's what she said.
I know. I set you up there. And the brush, I think I didn't mention, was this beautiful purple brush, purple and black from Trotter Handcrafts with a that's my one with a G5C synthetic knot, and I kind of that's my dumb reach brush.
I'll send you a picture of the shave of the day, and then you can insert it in here.
Oh, that'd be great. Actually, that's a good idea. I'll do this.
We'll do a shave of the day photo.
Oh, for old times.
I haven't. Yeah, exactly. I haven't done one of those in a while.
So we're still, all of that. We're still wet shaving, and we love wet shaving. But I think just as far as how we've, again, people who've listened to like the last few episodes know we're not really acquiring too much. We're not chasing too much down. If anything, we're trying to use up, or at least just push out of the house extra things. And I'm still trying, working my soaps, and I've got a good amount like into new hands. So I'm happy about that. I've never been too much of a razor collector, but the brushes, Gerard, I think that's the next thing. I need to cull my brushes a little bit.
I mean, should I ask what's the count right now?
The brush?
Yeah.
Total brushes? I think I am. It's not anything crazy, because I haven't picked up that. Like, I picked up like 1 or 2 brushes right in the past year. In the past 2 years, it's been like 1 or 2 brushes added. So if I were to guess, 40, maybe around 40 brushes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't just, if some people listening are like, that's crazy, or that's like that's nothing. But I think I would like to get it down to 20.
I think 40 is a good number, but obviously, if it's been like more than a year since you've touched a brush,
exactly,
that maybe goes on the block, right? And stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you know another crazy thing though is I've heavily swayed towards synthetic.
I mean, it's your opinion, and you have a right to be wrong, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's just for ease of use, and
no, for sure.
Like, you can call it laziness, whatever you will, but that, like, seriously, that G5C, I'm just like, I forget, like, oh yeah, I have other brushes, and that's kind of why I'm like, I don't need the current amount I have, whatever number I whittle down to eventually.
No, for sure, and even with me, like, I have a G5C as my travel brush, pretty much, and then I forgot. Someone will have to correct me. We'll fix it in post, but I have the Umo, I think it's Umo, the hand tied synthetic.
They're like more recent offering, right?
They had a couple, but like I had like the first version of their hand tied.
Okay.
And it was like I had heard it was stupid dense, so I actually like I put it in I think a 27 millimeter handle or 28 millimeter handle, but I only got a 25 millimeter knot.
Yeah,
and it fit somewhat snug. So yeah, they went crazy on the density on those things.
Okay,
but just the room in there, very nice brush. Very, very good splay and great brush.
Oh, excellent.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just poking the bear as always. and stuff like that.
Well, actually, speaking of like brush, acquisitions, you did have one in the past few months, correct? The adventure to be
Which one?
like you
Like
you
there's
you rebought a brush that you had
oh
sold,
yeah,
and it
I
came back
did.
in, right? Yeah, yeah.
I did, but I sold it again already.
Oh, okay. All right. Then. Oh,
So
you did.
I did
That's
2 days
fine.
ago.
Oh, that's super. Okay, I was like,
Yeah, super recent.
when did this happen?
Yeah,
Uh,
so which is funny,
okay, well,
but yeah.
then, yeah, yeah. Goodbye, brush.
What's it? What's that? I think it's a James Blunt song. It's like goodbye, my lover.
Uh,
Goodbye, my friend.
I just like you're beautiful.
No.
I know that's not the one you're talking about.
So that song, "Goodbye, My Lover," it could be a memeable song too.
Sure. Or speaking of memes, it's like the one with Grandpa Simpson, like coming to the bar and then like turning right back
And
around.
just right back out.
That's
It's not even a bar; it's a brothel.
I thought it was the bar. Oh, was it the brothel?
Bar. So that's where Bart
yeah.
he's working the front at a brothel, and then
Oh,
Grandpa Simpson walks in, sees Bart, and that's
then-
why he walks right back out. He's like, nope.
oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, my
think
memory
it
is
was
not so.
like-
I thought it
I'm
was
trying to think of
like
the
he went to
name of that
Moe's,
episode.
but that okay, yeah. That
Was
that
it like
makes
the
more
best
sense.
little whorehouse in Springfield or something like that?
Yeah. Next portion of the episode, I think it'd be great just to share a fond memory or memories. This is not to like pat ourselves on the back, but just like something that sticks out to you. And one of the favorite conversations that we had with guest Will from Barrister and Man. I still remember the passion he spoke with, in particular with the fragrance creation. And I forgot which one he was working on. Like when he was sharing with us, it
Was it Berceuse?
it might have been for actual the actual perfuming.
Yeah.
And just the I don't know, like a chef, because we talked about like ratatouille moment and stuff, and kind of just like what or what environment sends you to. That still really stuck with me, and that was like within our first season at the very least of episodes. So that one still sticks out in my mind very clearly.
It's funny because like as I was thinking about it and like kind of scrolling through some of like the old episodes and whatnot, and I think if I'm going to it's not like one thing in particular, but it's maybe just something like we did in general was I feel like we were able to kind of give artisans a platform and not be so tense, if you will. I think we were pretty good in building up a reputation that we weren't going to be like, gotcha,
Investigative journalism.
Tell us what you really think.
Where are the bodies?
Why do you hate tallow so much?
Yes.
Why do you want to contribute to the deforestation of palm trees? Or whatever. But I mean, we weren't really like that at all. And I think it's something I remember one episode in particular is the one with moon soaps. With Melody and Kent. And I think Melody was like, I don't know if it was like on the episode or maybe beforehand, we're just like chatting and stuff like that, because she was like terrified. She was like so nervous and stuff like that.
That's talking, right.
And being like a face and a voice, to the brand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just remember, it was really wholesome. It was a really nice conversation we had with them and stuff like that. And there were others, that were also just I think they, certain artisans were more aware than us about just the time, of it being allotted to them, to be able to come and talk about their products and whatnot as well. And so, whether a artisan was shy in our, that we interviewed, or whether they were just super, outgoing, they knew what job had to be done. I mean, I think we made everyone feel comfortable.
I think that's a great example. That moon soaps. I think is it Melody and Zach. I think.
It was Zach. It's Zach Kent.
I think
the last name is Kent.
Their last name is Kent.
Yeah.
It's
See,
okay. I didn't.
sorry
I'm
guys.
not trying to shame you. No, I mean
No,
that
no,
was a while ago,
good,
but
good, no, good catch, good catch.
yeah, no worries. No, I do. I don't even think that was a video episode. I think it was just the audio, and like we might have seen them because it was like a Zoom call or something. I'll have to look back, but
We'll have to go back, you know.
it was like the first, like media, and it was a good reminder that not this might be like the first like recording or whatever that people have done. Like nowadays, I think we're so used to you have social media, you have Instagram accounts, you can go live. Like there's a lot of tools, right, for the artisans. But back just a few years ago, sometimes
I mean, I would probably account it to, again, to like the pandemic, right? Like
yeah,
Zoom was a premium service and they made it free for like, you know, like a year and
yes,
a half or 2 years or something like that.
right.
You know, as
Yeah, and the ability like streaming video on the social media platforms did not. It was not a regular occurrence. Yeah, you're right. It came during the pandemic because, uh, I mean that was a good service to have. One guest in particular for Henson Shaving was
oh yes,
Daniel, and the feedback afterwards was interesting in that a lot of people like just watched or listened to that episode, but I would say the viewer listener response was a little more divided, where it's like it seemed a little like almost like too well put together, more like marketing talking points. But I enjoyed recording with him.
I would say this. I mean, sure, right? Like, I don't know about anyone here, but I'm on Instagram and somewhat often, and I would get Henson ads, right? And it was always Daniel going in there, and he had the pitch, right? Like he was, to say,
maybe that's what it is.
and he's like very nice guy. Another thing I'm really happy with is that through that episode, we got them to do a aggressive version of the AL13,
That's right.
and stuff like that, because it was only previously offered in the titanium version. And and so we asked, like, is it possible? Like, is it something that you guys don't want to do? Maybe just keep away from or whatever. And then, thankfully we were able to get that.
That's right.
So
I think that was huge because we basically put together a group buy that wouldn't have happened had we not talked to Daniel and Henson.
Do you remember how many like quote unquote interested parties there were?
Yeah, it wasn't more than 100, but it was near that number.
Okay.
And the same thing is like
it's enough.
It's enough. And funny enough, also like might have been like a year or two ago, it was available to some vendors, because I remember.
Oh no, they ended up doing, because like,
yeah.
If someone correct me, in this, because it was still the version 1 of the head, right? Like they did a slight change on the head design where it wasn't so pointed on the corners, so they rounded the corners, and then I believe they may have released it again, like in that second version, and then made it more widely available.
Yes, yeah. Either way, instead of just the group buy, there was another way to get an aluminum version of the aggressive head. So, maybe it's like not proof of concept, but we were able to round up enough people to show that to show that there is interest. So that's definitely, a little, what would you call it, a little accolade.
I think it was just one of those things, and I mean, Daniel's just one of those guys that he is the face of Henson, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not one of the specific like engineers, and stuff like that, or machinists, but he's the face. And so as the face and the voice of that company, he has to be on at a certain, pretty much whenever he's on camera, whenever he's, like he's in public.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, because otherwise, someone will say, oh, that's a guy in charge, like, why is he lazy? Or, like if you want a guy in charge, you want them to be like, I don't want to say boisterous, but you want them to be as excited for the product, to be out there. Another person that comes to mind is Shane from, Blackland Razors.
Yep. Shane's great. Yep.
And everything. And so it's just, when you know the product, when you're proud of the product, and you're able to articulate that, of course. be the voice for your company. You know, like another one I remember like talking about was with Dennis from Spearhead. Right?
Yes.
We were the first ones. You know, he sat down with us. We saw him, but like it was an audio only episode.
Yes.
And then I just checked earlier with Melody and Zach. That was also an audio only episode, but we saw them obviously.
Right.
You know, sorry everyone. You know, like you didn't, but I think that was what was really nice. You know, I think once we like started, you know, talking with some people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just said, "Hey, you should go on with these guys. They're not that bad."
Yeah. Like, oh,
And that's pretty
I
much
could do
that.
that.
You know, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And then everyone, you know, started coming. I remember like we had Douglas and Fran from PAA. We had, you know, like I think the first one with Peter from A&E and the club and everything was just you. I don't think but then later on we obviously, you know, did
That's
one
right.
with him.
Yes.
And then, you know, that's when we collabed and we ended up doing Stateside Sonata, which I'm also very proud of and everything like that. I think it's also a great set. You know, and so I'm just looking. We ended up talking with Rod from Sterling. We talked
that was fun.
With Chris from Oaken Lab, which was a pain in the ass to plan out. He's in Indonesia or Malaysia.
Yeah. In Sri Lanka? Indonesia?
I'm pretty sure Sri Lanka and Indonesia are two separate countries, sir.
Yeah. No. Which one? Okay. Now I have to. I gotta look it up. Where's? I don't know why Sri Lanka stuck in my head. I was like, I don't know.
Because I think he had us in a store, and for some odd reason, I remember it being in Bali. Which is in Indonesia. But I want to say he's in Indonesia. See, you know.
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't. I don't know why Sri Lanka on the brain, but
we did have Shri from Holy Cow on here.
Yes, we did have Shri. Jakarta though is actually
Jakarta.
Dang it. Well,
that
was great. I do have to say, I might have said it somewhere else before. As far as like one of the most difficult episodes to record, just because the ridiculousness of our guest was Greg Tardif. And for those who don't know, because I might share this like just off more casually, but like editing that episode was a huge pain in the ass because we were just cracking up a lot of times, and
we had signal issues also though, right?
Maybe it was more though that Greg's such a joker and like would leave he would purposely, he's like, "Oh, don't you hate it when there's awkward pauses?" and just pause for a long time and like just things like that. But it was so much fun recording. But yeah, like in post, like to make that, to know how much of the comedy to leave.
We love you, Greg.
Yeah. Still, that's a good example of someone who like made a mark in wet shaving content creation, but has moved on to other things. And same thing, there's artisans that we've known that have come and gone, and I think it's just really lucky for either side to be able to catch to kind of hook up with those people while they were active. I think that's also something special. So Gerard, I think it's safe to say that for both of us too, as our hobby interest, free time, that kind of thing, shifted to other things too. I think this past year, and I just because we've talked a little bit about it offhand, but can you maybe share with the listeners a little bit of like what's your what's the hobby? What's
the current thrill?
Exactly. What's the current thrill? Yes, thank you.
So I think at the same time as, shortly after my son was born, I got into photography and cameras. And from the beginning, I was never interested in doing like events or things like that for other people. Mm-hmm. I joke with my own friends. I'm just like, I am not interested in your special day, and
That's a good way to put it.
I also don't want to mess up your special day and
Right,
things like
right.
that. But yeah, I wanted to not use my phone so much, not be on my phone so much, right? And our phones are great. It doesn't matter if it's iPhone or Android or whatever. Like these phones are really incredible, but I think there's a certain kind of like lack of like character. Like camera phones are just kind of soulless, if you will.
Okay.
So I ended up picking up a couple like mirrorless cameras that were really good, and things like that. But even then, I could just hold that button down, and get perfect autofocus. And I'm just like, I don't, this doesn't, this also doesn't feel good. I wanted, I say I want to earn my photo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I also started, at the same time, I started kind of picking up film cameras and stuff like that. And I use that quite a bit. And so when you only have 36 photos, you want to be sure that you're composing it properly, like everything's like, nice and ready for everything. And so it's probably been the best lesson for me because yeah, like film developing and scanning is not cheap and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting my own scanning setup just to save some money, which
Nice.
happened very quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I've still been doing. It's allowed me to kind of get out, get out of the house, go for a walk, nice photo walk, whatever.
Yeah.
And then local events, local things like that as well. It's just been besides all of the special family moments. So that's been something that's been going on. The nice, like, I have not been into photography like I was in shaving, right? Because like I'll say, at my peak, right? Like I'm buying like 2 soaps a week. You know what I mean? Like that just because of the hype. Just because, oh, someone's releasing this. Oh, next week someone's releasing that. Oh, then guess what? So and so has a brush drop. Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
oh yeah, and then like this new blade, the new plates coming out for this razor, this and that, like, oh great, like, oh, this is gonna be released in stainless steel. Oh, this is gonna be released in titanium. Oh, this is gonna, and it was just relentless. Like there was never, when it came to like, in we call it gas, right? Like gear acquisition syndrome, and
Yep.
stuff like that. And it's the same thing. It was one of those nothing has been as like relentless as like getting into shaving, stuff like that. I've been into video games. I've been obviously into photography. I've been into like building like like my own PC components and stuff like that. But no, like where it's just like all these little things coming out at once and stuff like that. So I definitely don't get me wrong, it's not that I hope to like kind of get back into it like that. One, I don't think the hobby's in the same place as it was like 3 or 4 years ago, and stuff like that. Like I think it's definitely toned down, more regular things and stuff like that. No, special like drops, all that, it seemed like every other week, someone was having a new drop and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm not going to say it's not as fun, but it's just different, nowadays than it was then. But yeah, that's what's, I'm not dipping off the planet for nothing. So
Yeah.
what about you?
Yeah, I just want to mention too that like I've seen some of your photography, and also wanted to plug that you shared some of the photos in the Lather Talk Discord, which is another thing that came from the podcast, which you actually set it up for us so that we can interact with well, we don't care if you're in the Discord whether you listen to the show or not, but obviously if you do, it's a place to gather there. So that's still going. That's not going anywhere. So I do want to do a quick plug. You can see some of Gerard's photography in the photography channel. Some great work. I think just very good, like kind of slice of life. He has a good eye, guys.
I mean,
what I'm trying to say.
I have a separate IG for photos too, as well. So
do you want to give it a plug?
I mean, it's fine. I mean, Sure. Like, so for my shaving, it's Hey Gerard Shaves, and for photography, it's Hey Gerard Photos. All one word.
It's great.
It's I am not very original when it comes to things like this. Okay, I'm a very consistent individual. Okay, if I was cooking, it would be Hey Gerard Cooks.
Yeah.
If I was into the mortuary business, it would be Hey Gerard's dying. Hey Gerard's dead.
Cadavers.
There we go. I mean, shout out to what's his name, Neil Breed from Heritage Collection Shaving, because that's his day job.
That's the family business. Yep.
There you go. So
Yep. I knew you had that separate IG for it, so worth giving it a plug for those who might also enjoy photography.
Thank you to all three of you who will listen to this and add it.
Give him a like and follow, guys. But yeah, you were asking me. So for me, yes, another hobby has supplanted wedge shaving. For me, it's my love of comic books, comic book collecting. It's spilled over in the podcast in the past. I think when we talked about, in particular, Gerard's love of Black Bolt from the Inhumans. That's what I think of. But yeah, for the Marvel movies,
that might be the single greatest rant in Lather Talk history.
I love it. I just think back on it and crack myself up hearing you get worked up over Black Bolt, the worst character ever. He convinced me. I thought he was an okay character before, but nope. He's garbage, hot garbage. So yeah, he was right.
It's sad, right? It's just like, how can you purposely make him like this bad of a character, like this, like so uncompelling?
It might have been I think it's a Jack Kirby creation though. So different time. I don't know. Or how about they can't all be winners? Well, they can't all be.
Well, he's the biggest tryhard though in maybe all of comics, And
for those who don't know, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee are the ones who like kicked off all the majority of Marvel characters. There's some other creators involved, but yeah, that dude. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent here, but yeah, I got back into comics. I've always read them, but actually actively collecting them and going through some nostalgia and buying up some old stuff, and then that's where I came up with my separate Instagram, and there might be a YouTube for it too. There's also a YouTube for it because I still enjoy content creation, so I needed something for that outlet. So comic books became for me, and all that stuff is under Old Stuff Is Cool, is with a Z, and that's all one word. There's too many Johns in the world, Gerard, so if I try to do like, or I didn't want to steal your thunder and be Hey John Comics or whatever. Hey John Shave.
Do it. I don't care.
No. There's already off the top of my head, there's already 2 John Shaves, maybe 3 in the wet shaving world. So yeah, I needed something that was a little more SEO friendly, a little more findable. But anyway, yeah, if you like comic books in particular, I'm talking about and posting stuff about that on both Instagram and YouTube as well. And that's, yeah, we'll see. And like Gerard said, like it might come around again where I'm more engaged with wet shaving, but I don't think it'll be in the same way in the past. And I'm actually not sure. You're saying like how the scene is now isn't the same as it was back then. I wonder if that's for us. That's the case, because
definitely.
Right, like we're not following it.
I'll say that, and definitely, because people are still hyped, people are still going, like so many, like other content creators are going strong, and
sure.
and so there's definitely no, and I don't know, sometimes just like people can just drift. That's it.
Yeah, people come in and out, so that's why also we say see you later, because if
goodbye my lover, goodbye my friend.
Why? Yes, no, but it's not goodbye. The whole point is it's not goodbye.
It isn't. It is definitely. We might do this like once every couple of years. You know what I mean? Like where you just kind of come back or whatever.
Yeah. So my YouTube is still going. So that's the thing,
for sure.
Right? Like,
for sure.
like Gerard threw it out there, where you might have to prepare a lot for an episode, but if we have the capability of live streaming, there's no reason we can't do a live stream and hopefully give y'all a little bit of a heads up too, because I think that audience interaction is always really fun. So yeah, I think there's other venues when come in, but at least for like a set podcast, a big thing was to record this episode too, was not to just leave you guys high and dry. Like we could have just peace out and just it's done. It's been gone for a while, but I think we formally want to thank you guys for sticking.
This is the Filipino goodbye of podcast episodes, by the way.
Oh, why is that?
Because this could have been, like I said, like a 5-minute thank you, thank you speech, right? And stuff like that.
Oh no, I'm not short on anything.
But I say like a Filipino goodbye, right? Yeah. Like it's like you have to like plan it,
long and drawn out.
No, so like at a Filipino party, like you have to go to the back of the house, and that's where you start, right? Because and you have to just say, hey, we're gonna go, thank you so much, everybody, bye, like yada, yada. Because if you start like near the front, you have to end up going to the back, and you end up walking back to the front, having more conversations with people and things like that already. So, Filipino goodbye is like 25 minutes, at least.
Yeah.
And by then, and then in there, you will have had like 2 more plates and dessert.
that might not be a bad thing, but yeah, no, it's just want to do it right again, and do right by folks who, especially folks who stuck it through. But again, you can find us on social media. You can find us my YouTube channel is still going for the time being. Slightly different direction, but still want to keep that channel open. And really, the Discord, I do really want to say come check it out. I think there's some good folks there. It's a good community there.
I'm still in there.
Yeah,
I'm still in there.
Yeah,
I respond to things.
We're there. Yeah. So I think that's all I have, Gerard. Anything on the way out that might have forgotten or might have come up?
Definitely going to be around. Definitely going to keep in touch. As best as we can, right? Like, and I think that's something about ultimately with the podcast, and especially with what we are known for, which is interviewing people and doing all that. That I'm not going to say that can only go so long, but it's funny because sometimes we'd put out an episode and it would already be kind of like outdated, right? Like there'd be stuff there was like, oh, this drop already happened, or this, or we would talk about something and it's like, oh, by the time this comes out, it will already be out and it might be sold out already, But if when you're in a chat, when that's continually going on, like you hear all the news right away. You hear about like everything that's happening. Like if you're looking for something, someone probably has a word on it being for sale and whatnot. So as we've said like so many times, this is just one chapter finishing, and another chapter is currently being written, and we can't wait to see what comes out of it.
For sure. One other group of people that I definitely want to acknowledge, for anyone that's ever been a part of the Lather Talk Patreon. Thank you so much. I just financially contributing to this hot mess of a show. Really appreciate it.
Totally forgot that even existed.
That's the thing, and people, and people like in these 5 years. Not that it exists all 5 years, but the point is, whether it's a one-time donation, whether you stuck with us for the long haul, everything in between. Thank you so much. I know a very gracious listener like gifted this microphone for to help with this show, and always will be indebted to that listener, as well as as everyone who's helped. Really, like I say, keep the lights on, because to stream, to record, and other like technology things, it costs money, and to get some help on that, because this is just a passion project. We're not saying any kickback or anything really from this kind of thing. It's just greatly appreciated. So for those who might not have heard the Patreon, I'm going to close that down just because the podcast is ending, and also with the I would say the YouTube is scaling back. It seemed like a good time to stop. So thank you again to everyone who's ever contributed to that Patreon, who has helped support the show. from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. So one last thank you is to the listeners, whether if you just discovered the show, I'm sorry, since we're putting a pin in it. But for folks who've been with us on this journey, we want to thank you so much, sticking through thick and thin, going through long periods of radio silence. You are the real ones, and we love you guys. Not goodbye. We'll see you in the future. All right. Well, you guys be well. Take care, and we'll see you when we see you. Bye bye.